Since a juvenile, up in Spofford we was running wild. No non-secure, 18 months and then you touch it down. No phone calls to the world, shit'll break you down. Find out your brother in the morgue and they spinning now. And your grandma soon be gone, ain't no fixing that. And that phone gon' remind you got a minute left. I know they see a nigga stressed.
So special.
Other young nigga blessed. I paint this picture from a dark place.
Slavery, a condition in which one human being is owned by another. In 1865, the 13th Amendment to the United States Constitution abolished slavery and involuntary servitude, except as punishment for a crime. Hi, welcome back to Prison Diaries. I'm your host, Ayishah Shelby-Moore, and today we're sitting with Bill Blount, originally from Brooklyn. So where did you grow up at, Bill?
Brownsville, Brooklyn.
Okay. Is that like your stomping grounds?
I mean, pretty much, yeah. You know, I work out there now, so.
Oh, that's good.
I don't live there anymore, but I work there.
How was it growing up in Brownsville?
Fun, dangerous, depressing, I guess. Every feeling in the world. I mean, crazy, like a roller coaster.
How old were you when you first were introduced into the system?
15.
And what happened at 15?
15, I ended up stabbing somebody in high school and went to DIY for about 18 months. That's what happened.
How was the DIY? What is that, a juvenile?
Division for Youth.
Okay.
Yes.
And where was that located?
Upstate in Dobbs Ferry, New York.
Wow.
Yeah. Westchester.
What was that like?
It's crazy. I mean, for me, I feel like that was the start of it all for me because I was introduced to a bunch of people my age that did the most heinous stuff. You know what I mean? So learning things from them, I took and brought back to the community, to people my age that didn't, because they looked at me like, oh, yeah, that's the OG. And we the same age, but they wasn't into the system. They didn't know nothing about the system. So they just thought jail was jail. I'm a little kid jail, big jail, whatever. It's prison. So it was like a zoo. I feel like it's a zoo to this day. Like it's always been a zoo. It's just the baby animals to the adult animals.
What made you stab whoever you stabbed?
I mean, it was a bully. And my father always told me, if you don't come home with something, if somebody takes something from you, then you got to deal with me. So at the end of the day, I'd rather deal with them than deal with him.
Right. So during that time when you were up north in a juvenile facility, were you given like any programs, any schooling, like anything to help you better yourself?
Yes. I mean, I gotta mention this, that because they had all type of stuff. Like I had opportunities to end up staying there, and I kind of wanted to. I mean, it was to the point where when it was time to leave, I was crying. I didn't want to go back home because it was so much. You know, it was just so much experiences. You know, they'd take me to I got introduced to my first NBA game, my first NFL game, my first MLB baseball game. You know, the zoos and different things, and you know, they have.
So it wasn't nothing like how Spofford is.
No, but
Okay.
but you got to go there before you go there.
So you did go to Spofford.
Yeah.
What was Spofford like?
It was crazy. Oh my God, it was like a baby Rikers Island. Like, I mean, I didn't know that then. I know that now because I could compare. But yeah, it was just a bunch of little wild kids, and you know, the staff was. If you tough, then you need to run the house, because if you not run it, then I'm gonna do what I gotta do, take your privileges and this, that, and third. So it was more like, you know, the toughest dude really ran the Spofford than as opposed to staff, you know. But
So you went from Spofford to up north, and then when you came back home, what was that transition like?
like I said, it was crazy. It was when I came home. I was more advanced with crime than my friends because of the experiences and that I heard about. You know, and it's crazy because now I look back, like we all were kids, so we, you know, a lot of people exaggerated their crimes. Like mine was for stabbing somebody, and that's bad, but I was in there hearing other people's stories and mixing my story. Yeah, I was shooting up people out there. I had this gun, that gun. I had a 2.2, a 2.3. I was making up guns.
2.3.
I've never held a gun before that. You know what I mean? But I was hearing it. They come in numbers, all right? So this, it was crazy. So when I came home, I was a little advanced. So I was able to, talk other people into doing different things. And it was my first experience as hands-on to crime. And I didn't know what I was doing, but they didn't know. They figured that, oh, yeah, you've been to jail, so you know what you're doing, and they followed me. It's crazy because this how fast forward to today is the reason why I do what I do today, because of the influence I had in my community then as opposed to now.
So you feel like the environment that you were raised in praises like crime and praises negative things?
Yes. I mean, you could, people come home from prison and get big parties, and everybody, get them money, set them out. Oh, yeah, bro, yeah, welcome home. Oh, yeah, my boy home. Yeah, you already know what it is. But people that come home from college don't get that same love. Oh, yeah, all right, what's up? Cool. It's crazy. It's sick. It's sickening.
Right. So what was life like from then to your next bed?
Oh, man, it was a bunch of mayhem. I was just, because once I picked up that gun, that was a whole new ball game for me. It was like, with this thing, I could get whatever I want. I mean, a lot of my friends, I dibbled and dabbled in dealing drugs, but that never was me. Like, I'd rather let somebody else do all that and just get mine in 5 seconds from them. You know what I mean? So it took me down a long road to just taking, robbing, you know what I mean, and sticking people up.
Do you feel like, because I grew up in Brownsville, do you feel like growing up in Brownsville you become fearless?
I think it's more so because of what I know now. I think it's more so fearful. I think everybody's scared. You know what I mean? I don't think nobody is not scared. I think everybody's scared. Whether it's they scared of other people, whether it's they scared of themselves, whether they scared of reputation. I think it's all. I think it's all fear, based on fear.
And how old were you when you went back to jail?
Well, I was 16. That's when I first went to Rikers Island.
That's when you caught the charge?
No.
So you came home at 15?
No, I came home at 16.
Oh, at 16.
And then went right back to
For
Rikers
what?
Island. Robbery.
Okay, and then when you went to Rikers Island, what was that like?
It was, like I said, once again, people used to tell me, I used to hear stories, especially when I came home, people, the older bros, oh, that wasn't nothing. You was in a little kid jail. If you was on Rikers Island, you wouldn't last. You wouldn't be on the phone. You wouldn't do this. You wouldn't do that. So I'm like, okay. So when I went to Rikers Island, I said, this is what I gotta do. I gotta go take a phone. I gotta go punch a couple people in the face. I gotta cut some people, and basically that's what I did. And I realized later on that I didn't have to. But at that time, I didn't know any better. So I just wanted to make sure that, and once again, like I said, it was fair. I was scared that people would think I was soft, and I wasn't trying to let that happen at no cost.
And how long were you on the island?
I did 8 months on the island. Yeah.
And then what happened after that?
Went home, got locked back up for assault. I shot my best friend. Did 6 months, again 6 months prior to probation. Then I slowed down and got little arrests here and there, bail out for robberies, whatever. I was still on probation, and then once I turned 19, that's when it was all over.
What happened at 19?
At 19, well, at 17 is when I started going out of town and hustling. And back then, at that time, everybody was going out, selling. They was drug dealers and going out there because it sell for more.
Where were you?
Schenectady, Connecticut, Pennsylvania. But I got caught up in Schenectady, New York, upstate.
Upstate, everybody get caught up there. That's crazy.
Yeah, I got caught up there. And what happened was, robbery thing. And one thing that most people don't understand is when you're doing robberies with guns, you're a stick-up kid. The reason why you got the gun is because you may have to shoot someone. You may have to. Most people, they think, oh, because I show you a gun, you're gonna be scared. You're gonna get your stuff up. You're gonna bump into somebody that's gonna eventually be like, nah, and basically that's what happened to me.
So, when you got incarcerated for that situation, how much time were you sentenced to?
15 to life.
Jesus. What was it like hearing that?
I mean, for me, it was what it was. I didn't really understand the dynamics until, I actually was on a visit. Maybe this was maybe 2005.
Mm-hmm.
This is like 10 years later, right? So the previous 10 years, it was just, it is what it is. I'm here. I was never, like, my father was the type of person that instilled in me that man up. If you, whatever it is that you do, you did, right? Like, most people that see me, they always compare me to other people. They like, yo, I don't understand why you're not angry, why you're not upset, why you're not coming home flipping on your friends and your family because ain't nobody hold you down and this, that, and the third, right? But my thing is like, for what? The judge didn't say, I'm sentencing you and all your friends to this. I'm sentencing you to this. So nobody owes, I always had the mentality nobody owes me anything. So I never, was angry. I never held grudges against nobody. So when he said the 15, it was the same thing for me. 15, I'm like, all right. Because I took that. I copped out to that. Because it was either that or 25 like if I blew traps. So I'm like, give me the 15. 15 sounds a lot better than 25. Let me get that. But like I said, I had no understanding of the dynamics of, family. I could, lose my mother, my father, even my daughter, right? My wife. I mean, I wasn't thinking like that. I was selfish. I was selfish and not on purpose. It's just that I didn't have the mental capability to understand what was happening. I had to really sit down and catch myself. And it was, like I said, it was my daughter that actually woke me up 10 years into my bed when I'm coming to see her, right? I'm in shackles and she tells me, Daddy, you ain't gonna never come home. And I'm like, what? Shut up, what you talking about? Oh, because every time I come see you, you in the box. So at that time, I knew she didn't really understand what she was saying. She was repeating what everybody else was saying around her. Oh, you know how that go. Oh, that boy, he in trouble again. They ain't gonna let him go. When he go to court, they gonna keep hitting him because he stay in the box. So she repeated it to me. But when I went back to myself, I was reflecting. That's what we do. We go back and we reflect on a visit because that's the highlight of since the last time you had a visit, right? So we reflect. So I'm sitting, I'm reflecting, and I'm like, wow, I literally broke down in tears because I was in the box by myself. And I literally broke down in tears when I said, damn, my daughter understands my situation better than me. And that's when I really sat down, straightened up, never went to the box again. And I started doing these different little programs and taking them for what it really was. And because you can really learn from these programs if you choose to, right? But it's about applying what you learn. And those things started to sink to me, and I'm seeing my daughter becoming a woman. And it was scary. It was scary. I had to straighten up, but like I said, prior to that, it was all out, whatever. It is what it is.
So I want to go back to you getting sentenced at 19. What jail did you go to from there?
The first prison.
Yeah, like the first prison.
Was because I went from upstate, downstate. That's where like reception, and I went to Kawasaki. Yep, Kawasaki first.
How was that? Like
a bunch of young, crazy kids from every borough, every city, Buffalo, Schenectady, Albany, like, there's a bunch of kids. Like, and the police didn't care. They were scared, but they would bust your head open. So it was like a borough thing. Where you from? And stick together. And for me, like anybody that knows me will tell you that I always was a loner, right? Yeah, I had peoples, but you're not going to influence me to do anything. No, I don't care if you're older. I don't care if you've been here longer. I don't care about none of that. I'm me. And, I did a lot of, bullheaded stuff. Like, you know, especially if you was from Brownsville, like, I would not, if I know that you're not in the wrong, then I'm going to get in it. But if you out here I hate bullies. Like, that's why I ended up stabbing the kid because of that. And if you was that type of individual and you got what you got, that was it. I'm not stepping into that. And other people would and they would look at me crazy like, yo, bro, you from the Ville, you from Brooklyn, how you did? Cause I'm not getting involved in that. And that's that. I always been my own man. But to answer your question, at that time, there was a bunch of young kids that didn't care. 25 to life. You know what I mean? Some kids in there had life, natural life. And it was crazy. It was just mayhem and chaos.
So when you was talking about like you was programming, when you came home, was you able to use those certificates?
Yes. I mean, I wasn't able to use the certificates, no, but what I learned, I was able to use it.
But the physical certificates that you...
Nah.
Because it said issued from the correctional facility on the bottom, right?
I guess I can't say if they work or if they do benefit you. I don't know because I never tried it. You know what I mean? I just used what I knew, the knowledge to get me where I'm at today. I never I never took that and had that attached to my resume and none of that.
Right. Coming out of the box, how long were you in there?
For the first time, you talking about? Because I was in the box, like I said, out of those 10 years, I probably did about 6, a little over 6 altogether. In
the box?
Yeah.
Did they offer you any counseling coming out?
I mean, the fake mental health stuff, yeah, but they thing is, do you feel like killing yourself? No, all right, wow.
Right, but nothing really like that can help you transition from being isolated to back into population.
To be honest with you, for me, and maybe for a lot of other people too, but I know for me personally, that was like a vacation for me. Like I would get tired of being in this jail for so long, and it's time to go. You know what I mean? So I would probably do something crazy to get up out of there and go to the box. And now I'm sitting in the box and waiting for my next prison to go to. You know what I mean? Because I felt like my time was going by fast like that too, right? Like by the time you get settled down, it's probably maybe 6 months. You know what I mean? And then next thing you go back to the box for about 3 months, 6 months. That's a whole year gone. You know what I mean? So the next year. You know what I mean?
Mentally being in the box for so long, do you feel like it changed you in any way?
Yes. And a lot of people will disagree for themselves because I have this conversation all the time. And a lot of people feel like that's inhuman, which it is. It is inhuman. It's inhuman to be in prison, period. Like, that's an unnatural environment.
Right.
But for me, I feel like it helped me significantly as far as I learned a lot because that's why I started reading and starting getting into myself. And that's another reason, like, I would get tired of being around people. So I want to be by myself.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I felt like for me, that's
what
my
worked
therapy.
for you.
Yeah, that was my therapy. I'm just was blessed and fortunate to not catch a new charge. But for the most part, yeah, that was a therapy for me. And I'm not in any way condoning that behavior because I realized that I didn't have to do none of that years later.
Do you feel like jail changed you in any way?
Yes, for the better. I feel I'm one of the ones that will tell you that I was rescued, not arrested, because I feel like the way I was living, I was gonna die. Somebody was gonna murder me eventually, or I was gonna end up being in prison for the rest of my life. Those were the only two options. So I feel like prison sat me down. Like God said, go over there and sit down for a second, get your mind right. And that's what happened. Got my mind right.
What was the worst part of being in jail?
Being away from my family. Watching, especially my daughter, especially her. Like, she's right now doing 25 years for murder. That same little girl. Yeah.
God, I'm sorry to hear that.
And that was the worst part for me. That I wasn't there to, prevent her from going that way, from making the same decisions and taking the same role that I took.
If you could say anything to her, what would you say?
Oh, so much, but to sum it up, I love you, and you're gonna be all right. We're gonna get through this.
What advice would you give her?
Love yourself. That's the only way you're gonna be able to love anything at all.
Do you speak to her often?
Yes, all the time. All the time.
How old is she now?
26.
Wow, she baby.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you partially blame yourself for her being incarcerated?
Yes. I'm right now in my life at the point where I'm trying to basically minimize that, right? Because, that's like saying it's my parents' fault that I did what I did, but it wasn't. They did the best they could with what they knew, right? So for me, I feel like, and I'm reminded about this all the time, about especially my wife, but like my close friends, bro, it's not you, it's not your fault, you made your bad choices. Well, however, she was grown, and she put herself in the wrong position and being around the wrong people. And that's what happens, And it was for me, it was crazy. Like, I wasn't able to eat. I couldn't sleep, I was losing crazy weight. It almost destroyed my marriage, right? Because I gave up. I didn't want to go to work. I didn't want to do nothing. And it was more so because it happened on my birthday, right? She was the same age I was, 19, the same charge. So, and I'm into the Bible. So, in the Bible it says that our kids will pay for our sins. And that right there is what was eating at me. Like, I felt like that was no coincidence. It happened at reason, because karma, the energy I put out there, whatever you put out there, it comes back. But at the same time, she still made her own decisions and choices. And all I could do now is use that guilt and just love on her with it. You know what I mean? And do the whatever I can do. Like, I don't try to enable her by sending her whatever she wants. You know what I mean? I send her the things that she needs. Remember, I was just there.
Right.
So I know
you
what
know
you
best,
need.
yeah.
And you can't beat me in the head. And, my mother, they eat that up. Because my mother raised them. You know what I mean? So she to the point where she calls her mommy, not grandma. You know what I'm saying? And she eats, like, whatever. I'm like, you'll slow down. I'm telling you, you gotta make it rough for her. And they like, oh, but it breaks my heart when they know she needs something, and she don't need it. I know, I was there. I know what she needs, the bare necessities, I know. But reward her when she does something good, right? She got a GED, what you want? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
She working, what you want? But you went to the box? No, I'm not sending you no money. No. For what? So you could go back to the box? No. But nah, they send it. Me? Nah, I'm not doing that. And I'm at that point right now where I'm seeing her growth right now. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's crazy because, like I said, it's like we live, it's like she following my footsteps. And I was hurt and sad by that. Like, oh, she following my footsteps. It's not a good thing. And people will might look at you. Look who you are today. Look what you're doing in the community. You know what I mean? Look what you're doing. Why would it be a bad thing? But and I'm like, wow, you're right. So it is hope. And I always remind her that. I'm like, right now, she her stuff, her case is up for modification. So right now, like I just had letters sent from the mayor's office to her, like different people sending letters, letting them know like we got opportunity for her. And what exactly she could do. She can actually be a mentor for these little girls out here.
Right, because a lot of people that get incarcerated don't get a second chance.
No.
And they make a mistake so young at a point where you know wrong from right, but you don't really comprehend the consequences.
No.
And I feel like when they give people these 7 to life, 15 to life, they're just snatching your whole life away from you without really, giving you a chance to even try to change. You get what I'm saying? Now, some people don't change overnight, but I don't feel like it takes your whole life.
I mean, a lot, like I said, a lot of things that you want to hear come out my mouth is different from most people that have been in my situation. For me, I don't blame the system. The system ain't just come snatch me. I'd had to do something to get caught up in that system. So my thing is like, I look at that as like a drug addiction, right? A person that's addicted to drugs is not going to stop doing drugs until they feel they hit their rock bottom.
Right.
So I feel the same thing with prison. A person that's in prison and keep going back or go for a long time, whatever, if you don't change yourself, then you can't expect things to change. Like I said, it's an unnatural environment. So it's not really designed to help you.
Right.
It's designed to, big the economy up in that town.
Right.
That's what it's for. It's not. It's to show the people in our community, in our societies, right? Our communities and our society that y'all taxpayer money is working. We keeping these people off the streets. We keeping these dangerous criminals off the street. But it's not. Prison is what you make it, and I made it. It didn't break me. It made me. I used it to my benefit. So for me, like I said, it's sad that there's a lot of people that's incarcerated and haven't come to, the understanding of, what's happening to them, what's happening to our people, and they just continue to do what they doing, blaming it on the system. Like, oh, nah, they snatched. No, they didn't kidnap you, bro. You did something to get in there. Now, of course, there's an exception for those that was innocent. Just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. But honestly, if you go into a prison, the president, whoever going to the prison and say, who's innocent here? Everybody's going to raise their hand, right? But there are people that are actually innocent.
It's a lot of cases that got reopened from the 90s, and it just makes you wonder, especially with the cases where people did like 25 years and they, it was a racist detective or something on the case, and then it's like, why didn't they go down a list of every case that detective had? Because if there's faults in one, then there could be faults in a lot. You get what I'm saying?
See, that's the thing.
They pick and choose.
And that's the thing too. With that, a lot of people don't know that when that happens, like they don't really make a big thing of it, right? They put it out there on the news 1 time, 2 times, it's over, right? So they're not gonna go looking, like you said, for every case that detective had. So it's up to somebody that knows, oh, I had that same detective. And it's up to them to put the paperwork in and do what they, like I said, everything is you have to find your own way. You have to figure it out. I mean, at the end of the day, this is what I tell everybody, like, whose life is it? Yours, right?
Going into jail, did you feel like you were going to make it out?
I mean, yeah. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I wasn't in the mind state of, I could die here. I wasn't in the mind state of, I could get a call one day that, somebody, a loved one, somebody very close died, passed away. I wasn't thinking like that. it was like, all right, I got 15 to life. I mean, 35, I'll probably be home. You know, so I'm gonna do what I gotta do and not do what I gotta do, but do me for until then. You know, I didn't, like I said, I never got serious and dug into it until my daughter said that to me.
Did you experience like racism and things
Of
from
course.
the correction officers?
Yes.
You want to talk about that?
I mean, I'm gonna give you an example, right? I mean, it's like an experience, right? I was in Clinton, down the mall, right? And it was like maybe 2 in the morning. So they got this thing 11:30, 11 o'clock. I forgot what time. But it's quiet time. When the bell ring, you know, it's quiet. You can't talk. You can't, you know, just watch the TV and chill. That means fall back, go to sleep. So, you know, dudes is still, it's a weekend. You know, dudes high or whatever. And out of nowhere, a bunch of white sheets, men in white sheets, come down the gallery with torches. I mean, that was like the most scariest experience for me. Like I literally jumped into my bed and I looked because it got quiet and you could see the silhouette from the fire. So I took my mirror and I was like, oh! I literally jumped in the bed and got up under the covers and went straight out. Like I don't remember nothing after that. Like
you don't know what happened?
No, I don't. And we was like people would like barely talk about it the next day. Yeah.
So that means something happened.
No, I mean I don't know of nobody missing. You know what I mean? Nobody disappearing or none of that. Like I didn't hear nobody screaming. I don't know because like I said, I put that thing and it scared me so much that I guess I fell out and went to sleep. You know what I mean?
I guess that scared you straight to sleep.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Sorry. Why would they have torches in jail? That's crazy.
I don't know.
So they were doing that to intimidate y'all, not really to harm you.
Yeah, I guess. Like I said, I don't know if they took somebody. I don't know. Nobody said nothing about nobody getting taken, screaming. Me personally, I have no idea what happened after that cover went over my head. I have no idea. When I woke up, it was morning, time for program.
How old were you when you came home?
I was 37.
What year did you come home?
2013.
Oh, that's the year I met my husband.
Oh yeah, we all came home at the same time.
Oh, for real?
Me, him, Spec, all of us.
So
yeah.
how was that coming home?
Yeah, I mean, it was awesome. It was, I mean, you know, it was awesome. Like, it was unbelievable. Was this, you know, just to be able to go where I want to go. I don't have no people on my back. I mean, I have parole on my back, but that was a blessing just to be, I didn't care about that. It was just a blessing to be able to walk the streets and, you know, not be confined to a certain area.
Right.
You know, and just, you know, seeing women all day, every day, like, you know, that I could actually say, hi, how you doing? You know, and not worry about getting a ticket or, you know,
right.
dumb stuff. But if my wife sees this, I was just looking, that's it.
So what was your first day home like? Like the transition, like you know, you went to sleep in jail and you woke up and now you're home and your first night home and waking up in your bed. Like how was that?
It was, I don't even know the right words to put together for that, but it was an overwhelming experience for me just to, I don't have to, you know, get up and stand up for nobody count. I could get up and walk to the store. No, it was just different in a whole lot. It was like freedom for me. It was like freedom when I walked out the prison period and just seeing my family. I had 3 cars waiting for me. Like, it was just like, oh. No, I don't know. It was different, and I felt, if there is a heaven, I think that was like one of the closest things to it
Oh, that's so nice. I don't even know where to go from there. Hold on. That was so nice. Oh, you described it as heaven. Wow. Bill today.
Bill.
Oh, so who is Bill today?
Bill today is a pillar in the community, a great father, great husband, a grown ass man.
Yes, yes, black man. How has your life in the past affected your life now?
I mean, if I didn't go through the things that I went through in the past, then I wouldn't probably be all those things I just said, right? Especially a pillar in the community. Like people used to fear me in the community. Now they embrace me. They can't wait to see me. Oh, they run me down. Can you talk to my son? Can you talk to my daughter? Can you talk to my baby father? Can you talk to my brother? And it's because at that time when I was before pre incarceration, I was more so the problem in the community. Now it's like I'm the solution. I'd rather be the solution. I'm trying to be the solution because there's so much work to be done.
If there's anything you could say to somebody that's in jail right now, like another man that's just starting his bid, like he just got there. It's like his first day, like, and he got probably about 10 to 20 to go. What would you say to them? Like, what advice would you give them?
Focus on you. Don't worry about the other things. Don't worry about what the homie's doing. Don't worry about what the girlfriend, what the wife. Focus on you first. Fix you, because obviously you got a problem. You're incarcerated. You're in an unnatural situation, and you're in here for a reason, right? Focus on you. Fix you, and then you can fix everything else, including your current situation.
When you were being released, did they offer you like any transitional counseling or like help to like re-enter society?
Yes, I did all type of programs. I did CEO. I did I can't even think of what. Oh man.
But they had things available to
Yes,
you.
yes.
Anything about housing, how to, get insurance, Medicaid. They walk you through that.
Yeah, they had. I mean, you have to put the footwork in.
Right.
The programs are there. But they're not going to bust their ass. Excuse the language, but they're not going to, go all out for you. They just want their check and keep the checks coming.
Right.
It's up to you to actually put the work in. Like the CEO program, it's like a job center for employment opportunities, right, for people formerly incarcerated, and it didn't do nothing for me. Like I literally went on 41 interviews, and the 42nd interview that I went on didn't have nothing to do with them, and I got the job. So, but I'm not to say that it's because of them, but what I'm saying, you have to put how many people would have gave up in the 5th one,
right?
Maybe the 3rd one.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I just kept going. But like I said, at the end of the day, you got to put your work in. Like you can't expect people to just do things for you.
Do you feel like you had a good support system coming home?
Yes, I had a great support
because
system.
a lot of people are missing that. They come home to nothing and no one, and so a support system is a major role in you staying free, I believe.
I mean, see, once again, it's kind of because I had that, so I don't know what life would have been without that.
Right.
I honestly can't say that. But once again, I still feel that because I've seen it with my own eyes, people that didn't have it, and today they're successful.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, I really think that, and I don't know the statistics, and I don't know this to be fact. So this is just my opinion, and I really believe that people that are stuck out there that come from that situation is because they didn't work on them. They didn't fix themselves. Like it's too much stuff out here, especially for us. You got people that are jealous that they can't get certain jobs and we're getting them. You know what I'm saying? Like they went to jail. How they get a whole program and they get Metro cards, they get this to go there, and I never went to jail, and I gotta. It's hard on me. I gotta pay for this. I gotta pay for that. So it's things. It's a lot of opportunities. You just have to take advantage of. You can't be lazy. That's like I said. That's my opinion. So you know.
What advice would you give somebody coming home? Like they really might not have a support system, they might not have what you had, and they don't really have nobody to, fall back on or look to for advice. They getting that $40 in a ticket and getting off on Times Square. They don't know the first step to re-enter society.
I mean, before you even come home, go to your counselor, and whatever you feel you may need help with, you may need assistance with, talk to them about it. They're gonna send you to the resources. Like I said, there's so many different programs and opportunities out here for us, just designed for us, right? Well, we have to take advantage of them, and we have to be aware that they are out there. So, talk to your counselor. If you on your way home and you don't have anybody, even if you do have people, right? Talk to your counselor and ask for whatever needs you need to be met for those resources, and they're gonna give it to you.
Do they give you any resources for housing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I know they'd be quick to put them in a shelter.
No. That's the process.
Mm.
No, that's the process. It's not, you're not going to come home and go straight to an apartment.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, you're going to go to a shelter, which is similar to jail, right? Because that's what I did. I didn't go to a shelter. I went to, what you call that? Halfway house thing, right? Because I didn't want to be nobody, a burden on anybody. I wanted to figure this thing out myself. And everybody, you could have came here. Why you didn't come here? No, I want to figure this thing out on my own, because I can't do all these years by myself and then come and depend on people. I mean, some people mess up like that and they become content with that. Like, oh yeah, I'm living with my mom. My mom's got me. And next thing you know, you look up, it's 3 years later, you still there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or you go home with this woman and you content because she got a great job, right? And it's hard to find a job, right? So you can't find, because your experience is you don't have that much experience in anything, and she making sure you fly, you good, you all right. I'm all right, you gonna sit home, and now this is where your beef coming at every night when y'all arguing and beefing, and she coming in from work and you sitting up watching the big 55-inch TV and there's dishes in the sink. Like, this is where all this coming at. You know what I mean? So, like I said, for my advice, especially for people, men and women, that's, about to come home, don't get caught up, because it happened to me. I am definitely a victim, that I knew all the answers. No, life was nothing like how I thought it would be. I thought I was gonna come home and write these screenplays, and I was gonna be popping on TV, and before there was a power even thought about, right? Those ideas was in my head, and so out the door, I got a baby on the way. You know what I'm saying? So
whose fault is that?
No, that's definitely. Let's take two to tango. Let's go by fault. But I mean, that was a reality wake up for me. Like, things happen. Like, no matter how much you try to plan things
life
out,
is unexpected.
right? Especially from somewhere where you are far away from. Like, we are so far removed from society that our perception of society is what we see on TV and what we hear from our conversations on the phone, on the visits, right? We don't. This is how we come up with this plan and that plan, and sometimes it works for a lot of people. It works, right? But for most people, it don't.
Right.
And it almost did it for me, right? Because I had this idea I was gonna do this and do that, and like I said, I was one of them people that was getting fed up, right, and about to give up because I couldn't get no job, and then I'm getting we back and forth with the wife, and you need to go somewhere because anyway, I actually ended up going home. I ended up leaving the halfway house because an incident happened there, and it's just like jail, right? I was there 2 weeks, and on my way, right, my curfew 9 o'clock. It's like 8:50. I'm getting off the train, right? As soon as I get off the train, I go back down the train, right? And I go to my wife, but I calls the what's the name?
Halfway house.
No, I called the PO. I didn't even call them. I called the PO. That's the first person I called. Calls them. Yo, listen, I'm right now. I told them what happened, and I went down to the I told them I went to parole. I lied. Well, I'm on parole now, so we can't do that to me.
You off parole? Congratulations.
Yeah. So I lied. Thank you. I lied, and I told him, I said, I'm right here in front of the building, and I'm not leaving. He said, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. I said, I'm not going back to that place. And he's like, you don't got nowhere to go? I said, I got plenty of places to go, but I'm not going back there. So he said, well, where you want to go? I said, I can go to my wife, I go to my mother, I go to, you know what I'm saying? I can go. He said, all right, just figure out, let me know tomorrow morning where you at, and if you can stay there, you can stay there, right? And that's what happened. But I had to leave that situation because, not because I was scared of what happened, I was scared of the thoughts that was in my mind. Like, I'm gonna get me a gun. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm definitely don't want to go back down that road. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it didn't work out for me. Now, it can work out. It depends on locations too. Right? I was in Picking Projects.
Right.
Like right across the street from Picking Projects. So, that wasn't gonna work. Not for me anyway. It wasn't gonna work. But yeah, that's what that was like.
So you think parole is a major reason why recidivism exists? Like why people keep going back to jail?
No, like I said, I think people keep going back. Like, see, it's different for me.
Everyone's story is different.
Yeah.
Everyone's opinion is different.
That's
so don't feel like it's not gonna be. Say how you feel. You know.
Because for me, it's like it wasn't no back and forth for me. That's it. After that thing right there going for that long time, that was it. And a lot of my friends, they be like, yeah, you would have did the same thing. You just got all yours in one shot. Maybe so. But I know that that's over now. It's a wrap. And I see people that do that much time and go back and come and it's just, I don't understand it. I pray for them. But I definitely believe that it is pretty much based on them not correcting themselves, dealing with the trauma, you know what I mean, that they, whatever they was affected by, you know what I mean? So.
Speaking of trauma, like some people go into whatever they went through as a kid and they go into the prison system with that trauma, like you said, not fixing themselves, and then the prison trauma makes it worse. Like, you come home and you have a good outlook because you had a good experience. You really don't seem like you're blaming the system. You're taking accountability. But a lot of people get, affected differently by jail. And they come home with, like, PTSD or they institutionalized. Do you feel like...
No, get it. I had that.
Right.
I had the PTSD. Remember, I just told you about the incident with the halfway house. Right. That was PTSD right there. Automatically, I just thought about, it's like, oh, no, I can't. I know where I'm going to go. Do you have any,
flashbacks from prison?
All the time. I don't think that's ever going to go disappear. Because that's a big imprint on my life. 17 years. It's part of who I am.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like my wife told me I'll be like, maybe a few months ago, she came to check on me. I was sleeping and she said I attacked her. You know what I mean? Because she went over me to see if I was asleep, and I felt it. And I you know what I mean? And I went right back out once I realized it was her. But I don't even remember that.
Right.
That's the crazy part.
But that comes from jail.
Yeah. Because I wasn't doing that before prison. I don't think.
Do you think if they would have offered like some type of counseling or something on your way home that you could cope with the effects better?
Maybe. Probably.
Have you been to therapy since you've been home?
No. My therapy is what I do.
And what do you do?
Work in the community with the kids. With
That's
trouble
cool.
youth and gang members and stuff like that. That's my therapy. Literally, that's my therapy. And being with my family, my kids.
If you could say anything to a child in the street right now, male or female, that's headed down the wrong path, what would you say to them?
Go the other way. Don't turn left. Go right. Now, it ain't worth it. Your homies, they're not going to be your homies. 10 years from now, the gang thing, that's not your family. You know, just think about how many people you go to visit, how many of your friends that's in prison that you go visit, and you probably want to say none. Mm-hmm. That's going to be you. The same thing. So, if you want to be told what to do and how to do what to do for an extended amount of time, then keep doing what you're doing. But if you want to be responsible and you want to live a healthy life and a good life, stop doing what you're doing. Get it together.
Thank you. Do you have any last words? Anything you want to say?
I just want to say, everything that I've been through, I feel it was worth it.
That's deep.
I feel it was worth it because I'm still here to talk about it and to help people and to prevent people from going through the same thing I went through. And for all those that didn't hear this today or in a long time, know that Bill Blount loves you.
Well, we thank you here at Present Diaries for sharing your story, sharing your time. We really appreciate you. And thank you for just taking the time to tell your story. I know it's going to help anyone out there that's watching that needs it.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I'm proud you off parole. You're a working man. Let's give a round of applause for this black
Picture
successful
from a
man.
dark place, touching all base. 18 next to Canada, think I saw Drake. Nah, but I saw he was in the big box. He told me keep my shoes tied, don't ever leave a bruised pride. COs hold they news high, favorites of their own kind. Prison in their own mind, we living through it, do the time. Niggas snitching, dropping dimes, never was a friend of mine. Working out my figure fine, but I just wanna hug my mom. Tell my shorty she the one.